Hello, hello. I am Valerie Day. I am the host of the podcast Prayers and Pussy, and this is our 11th episode. And I am so excited that I have Monique Ruffin in the house. Monique is the Moon Mama. And I think on my very first episode, I mentioned her because this was a topic. Prayers and Pussy was a title that it took me 4 years to own. And when I had a reading with her back in 2020 or 2021, she said, "Girl, this is yours to do. It says it in your stars, in your chart." So, um, Monique has a deep and wide knowledge of spirituality, sexuality, and she is, as the Moon Mama, the astrology queen, and is just doing great work in that area. So I'd like to pass the baton to you, Monique, and just tell us a little bit about like the work you're doing with Follow the Sun and just kind of who you are, and then we'll can go deeper.
Of course. Thank you, Valerie. Well, first of all, I'm so excited to be here on podcast Prayers and Pussy. I just love that title. It is so beautiful. Podcast Prayers and Pussy. I mean, it just feels like a warm summer day, like Saturday morning. That's what that that's what that makes me think of, like a Saturday morning,
I
when
love it.
right when in the garden. And it's like
Ah,
I love it. It feels so beautiful. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate that. Um,
thank you
so
for saying yes.
of course,
Yeah.
of course. So I am and I'm an astrologer. Um, I also am a coach. I support people in finding themselves,
Mhm.
locating themselves. You know, when you go in the
Yes.
mall and it goes, "You are here, you are right here," and you look at that board and the little dot, like
Yes.
that's what I help people do. I help people locate their authentic self.
Oh, oh my God, people, breathe that in. She helps but locate their authentic selves. Yes, beautiful.
Yes. So, and I love my work, and I have a toolbox to assist me with this work. A part of that toolbox is astrology. A part of it is coaching and helping people do ancestral work to
Mm.
heal trauma, belief systems, conditions that keep them out of the realm of their authentic self.
Mhm, mhm.
To locate your authentic self, you have to first begin to identify where you really are. Like where
Mm,
like where's your where are you, right? So it's like, "Oh, I'm in this job that I hate." Well, that means that you're not close to your authentic self. I'm in this
mm.
relationship that's draining my energy. Well, that means that you're far away from your authentic self. I'm not parenting my children in ways that actually um benefits myself or them. That means that you're not in your authentic self, right? So
Right.
people
Yes.
identify the areas where they are giving their energy to things that don't replenish them. Because when you're in your authentic self, there is a natural replenishing that occurs
Mm,
consistently
mm.
systemically when you are in your authentic self. The way we watch nature, we if you have a fruit tree, you will see that tree will have grow blossoms, then those blossoms will turn to fruit, and then those fruits will then the leaves will fall. It's a system of replenishment. It happens, right?
Yes, yes,
And we are like that as well. And when we are in our authentic way of functioning, we systemically replenish ourselves. It is how it works.
yes.
So that is my work. That is what I love to do. I have a community that I have been cultivating for a number of years called Follow the Sun. This is a community designed for people who are interested in developing their feminine energy. We hear a lot of that going on now, the feminine and the masculine. My understanding of feminine energy is our internal functions. That's what it is. It's what's inside, what's unseen.
Yes.
The
Yes, yes.
external. This is not a conversation about men and women. This is about
Right.
the internal parts of us and
Mm,
understanding how we function. So, what's going on inside of our bodies is our feminine energy. What your liver is doing is a part of your feminine. What your heart is doing, because you can't
mm.
see it, it's unseen,
Ah,
but you're benefiting
yes.
from it. And if it didn't work, you wouldn't, if it wasn't working, you haven't
Uh-oh.
eaten it.
Wait.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, we just had a little blip. I don't know if it was on my end or your end, but we'll just know it's fine.
Okay. Yes, so it's so so my work is to help people locate themselves, and a part of that work is understanding the system that you're in. How does your body work? How does your mind work? How do you relate to the world? How do you function in this system? And it's, we've been given a one size fits all narrative,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
couldn't be further from the truth. It couldn't be further from the truth. It is, everyone is unique. And how I wrap my mind around this is when I go to the forest, and I go often in Los Angeles. I go to the
I've heard you talk about that. You
yeah.
when you used to regularly be on Instagram, you'd be Instagramming on your way to the forest with your buddy in your
Yes,
Uber.
yes, yes. And so when I go to the forest, I have an incredible experience of being like, oh my God, all I can see is trees for as far as my eye can see. It's all I can see is trees. Thousands of, maybe millions of trees, right? Just
Yes.
they're all different. They're all different. They might even be the same type of tree, but it's still different. It's still different. And and when the trees are in their uniqueness, they add more value to the collective. So the fact that
Yes.
we have been given a one size fits all narrative about, women are this way and men are this way, and we are doing a disservice to our. So my work is to help us recognize our individuality so that we can bring that individuality to the whole. Now, these
Mm,
things that showed up in my
that is
work.
amazing.
Right. And it's so subtle that we could miss it, but it's so, like, for instance, when I was growing up, like, I'm a woman, I'm 55. I don't know I don't recall what your age is right now. We don't have
I'm
to.
60.
Okay, great. And so when we
We're
were being,
close.
right, when we were being raised, I was being taught to get an education, get a husband, the husband was more important than the education, but as a black woman, education was very important. Like, that was a big deal. But the husband, and then Jesus, like, these are one size fits all things, right? And
Right.
so what happens is when we attempt to fit into these one size fits all narratives and conditionings and agreements, these collective agreements, we have to deny parts of ourselves.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have to put
Yes.
parts of ourselves away. And so when I started really studying my own astrology, and I was deeply in pursuit of a husband, deeply, like, oh my God, I
Because
felt
that's what you were told you needed to have as a husband.
that's right. And someone read my astrology, and, like, most people come and they always, because I wasn't an astrologer at the time. This is
Okay.
what made me be an astrologer.
Oh, interesting. This is what I wanted to know.
Yes, when most people come to me, and most astrologers, they want to know about relationships. When am I going to meet somebody? That's what people really want to know more than anything else. When am I going to meet somebody? So I went and I said, "When am I going to meet somebody?" And he goes, I could hear the drag in his mind. I could hear him thinking, "How am I going to say this to her? How am I going to?"
Oh, because he didn't want to admit that he wanted it.
Well,
And
no, he didn't want to hurt my feelings.
oh, okay.
He didn't want to hurt my feelings because I was so about relationship. And he goes, "Well, Monique, you have this North Node here, which is what you're here to really master this lifetime. Everybody has it, but yours is in Aries, which means that you're not here to master relationships. You did that in your last lifetime, which is why you want it so much, because it's what you're comfortable with."
Oh,
And so he spent an hour and a half breaking that all down to me. And I remember afterwards me just laying on my floor in the fetal position going like, now what?
Oh my God, because your whole world had been shattered.
Now what? And
Wow. How old were you?
I was I was recently divorced, so I was,
Oh, this was after you got divorced. Okay. All right.
yes. So I was maybe 40 something, like 40,
Okay.
40, 42, and
But
um
didn't that at least make you feel validated? Like, okay, well, I got divorced. I'm not supposed to be in a relationship. Did you have a little bit of like, oh, okay, I did this
after
right?
I dealt with the devastation of like, now what am I going to do with my life?
We can
After,
laugh now, but I know you were in the fetal position. It's just like
that's right.
agony in every fiber of your being.
Oh, agony. And so once I got some clarity around that, though, I was like, oh, this is why these relationships don't work. This is why I can't have the thing that I see other people. This is because I'm here for something else. I'm here
Yes.
to be something else. And so I started studying my chart to help me understand what is it that I'm here to do. And through deep study and spiritual work and healing and therapy and ayahuasca and all manner
Oh,
of
which I haven't done yet, and I intend to sometime. So we could talk about that sometime.
yes, yes. I discovered that I am here as a teacher. I'm here to teach. And
You
I'm
are an amazing
here
teacher.
to help us all remember and wake up to who we are, to the
Mm.
divinity within us. And it has been a beautiful journey because I have come to really see the cosmology and understand how we are to relate to reality individually. But also, what has really helped me is understanding that we are still currently in the dark ages. It actually just ended like 3 months ago. I mean, and this is a 25,000 year period. Like
Really, literally, like we've come out of the dark ages, and now what age are we in now?
we're going into the golden age. So everything in the universe is an ebb and flow, right? So it's how day gradually turns into night, and then you watch
Yes.
night gradually turn into morning. And age is like that too. So it's not a
Okay.
cutoff, right?
Right.
But it is a process. So we're now moving more rapidly into the golden age. But what
Okay.
this information has done for me is it has helped me understand the human condition in the world.
Mm. Mm.
The dark,
Mm.
we have literally been at the effect of darkness, meaning we cannot perceive our oneness. So what do we have?
Oh.
Wars and predatory medicine and
Oh,
predatory,
great
right?
food.
Right, exactly, because we're not recognizing that we're connected to one another. And
Right.
because the light, literally the dark ages truly means that the earth in its relationship to the earth is in a tilt, and that
Hmm.
tilt is always spinning, and now it's spinning out of that shadow period and into the light.
Oh, so the way it's actually physically tilted is why whoa, whoa. Oh my God,
Yes,
I love you.
yes. It's
Whoa.
right. Just imagine if I'm shining a light on you directly, you see the light. But if I'm shining the light from the side of you,
Right.
you can't perceive everything. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow, I didn't know it was literal.
It's
It's
literal.
literal. Wow.
Yes.
Right. I just thought it was energetic. I didn't know it was literal. I mean, it's literal and energetic, but like I
Yes.
didn't know it was actually the rotation of the earth.
Yes.
So scientific.
Isn't that amazing though?
It is amazing.
And it helps my soul rest. I'm like, oh, people are not monsters. People are just at the effect of the dark ages.
Right. But then, and then, like you said, that it's not a hard stop. So that's why it's pandemonium still.
That's right.
Right. But
That's right.
I can see in like the people that I follow and listen to
Yes.
that there's an awakening around like our food system, the pharmacy, like all of that. Like I'm
Right.
seeing it get
That's right.
bigger and bigger. Like I've been feeling this forever, but now I'm seeing the masses are starting to talk about it.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it
Yes.
amazing? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
seriously? I mean, and then to see to understand the technology behind it, and it's literally like I can see it. I'm like, oh, it's like I'm watching people walk into the light, out of the shadows. It's just like being in the shadow of a tree, and then
Right.
the sun coming, and it's like, oh, the shadow's gone. I'm like, it's
Wow,
yes,
wow, wow, wow. Amazing. I love it.
isn't it something, girl?
Yeah, it is.
I love
Well,
it. So
and you're right, it does bring you peace because man, it's pretty, I mean, I always think for forever, like you were like, you're such an inspiration because every day you showed up on Instagram. Now you've got your community, Follow the Sun. And so
yeah.
you do Instagram not as often, but I was so inspired by how you showed up and you had that wisdom. And, you would just talk about like, it's an illusion, people. Like, don't get sucked in. This is an illusion. Like, but it's hard as people living in this, you know, dual world to
That's right.
remind ourselves that we're all one, right? I mean, I know that I'm a religious scientist, you're a religious scientist, and we understand oneness, but then it's the execution and the belief of it
Come
is the
on.
big challenge.
That's right. The execution and the belief of it. Because one of the things that I've seen so clear, let me just say this. It took a mighty effort for the creator, Ernest Holmes, to create religious science in the throes of the Dark Ages.
Right. Like that's some serious, like walking in the light.
That is some serious
Like
downloading.
absolute.
That's
Makes me
right.
think of Emma. It's like
That's
he's like really had
That's
that
right.
absolute.
It took a lot of power for them to do that. And so now it's going to start happening more rapidly. So for those of us who have been in religious science for years, like we've been holding the light. That's what we've been doing. Like because
Right.
the light has been coming in gently, slowly, but now it's going to start flooding in. The thing is that because humans are like humans have to do the work. We have to clean up our psyches. Like it's not, there is magic. I do want to say that there is magic. It's not as much magic for those of us who are the pioneers in this stuff, right? It's really hard.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But as the masses start coming, it's going to start catching up. And boom, boom, everybody's going to start getting it. And, in the next 200 or 300 years, the whole earth is going to be different.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
you know, we'll probably be in our
We'll be back as
non-physical
another person. We'll be back as someone else.
Oh my God.
That's
I want to come back as my cats
right.
or my dog.
Yes, right. Or some rich person's cat, right? You're like
Right.
somebody, some rich person's cat, or some compassionate person's cat. Like
Right.
somebody who really loves. Because my cats are winning, girl.
They are. And you're a new cat mom.
I am.
And you never had pets ever before?
I never had pets ever before. And my cats have all my energy, time, attention. I mean, it is the most profound experience that I'm having with these cats, like learning. Oh gosh, they have taught me how to,
Osset. And what's your other cat's name? I only know Osset.
I said in my art.
Maat. Okay.
Yes. So they have taught me to understand that just because you can't see something doesn't mean that there are not things here that you can't see because you watch them communicating with nothing all the time,
Right.
right? So I'm like, oh, they see something I don't see. So that's one thing they've taught me. They've also taught me to really trust the process. I'm a little bit of a clutter bunny, like because I'm doing crystals and sage and all these herbs. Like I have all sorts
Yes.
of stuff, right? And my cats will just tiptoe through it.
Oh, I know. Isn't it amazing? Like they don't knock any of it over.
They
Well,
don't.
I just learned that they have some mechanism in them that keeps them upright that we
Yes,
don't have.
yes.
Right. So if they like jump, like they have this writing system that we don't have, this upright.
They're always gonna find their feet to the ground,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Yes.
Where we don't have that in us.
Right. So I pay attention to them. So things like that. They also are very affectionate. They are so affectionate. It's almost too much for me. I'm like, there are days in here, I'm like, you guys, it's too much. I can't take it. I need some space. Get off of me. Like, there'll be two cats sitting on my body. I'm like, okay, 5 more minutes of this, and then I gotta go. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I love it that they've brought all that to you. That's awesome. When that you like followed the guidance of like, okay, it's time. I'm supposed to be a
Yes,
cat mom.
I started dreaming about cats, and I was allergic to them at the time. I was
Okay, well,
literally
what do you think about this? I was told long ago by it was some connection to agape. And for our listeners, um both Monique and I don't have my license anymore with agape, but we were both agape licensed practitioners, and that's how I grew up in Science of Mind, was at agape. And now so that's our, but I didn't know you at Agape. I started knowing you because you just were like my little messenger on Instagram. I was just always so inspired by how courageous and authentic you were. You
oh,
really were you're so courageous and just speaking the truth, you know? And it's truth that people might not like, they don't agree with. And so I really feel like you doing that kind of held the space for me to do this,
oh,
right? Right, seriously. Yeah.
I'm grateful for that because, you know, I have had the opportunity to be in some special places at special times, and Agape
Mhm.
one of them. It really was.
Yes. Yes.
It was a very unique experience where we were there learning about. Here's the thing that I learned from Agape that I am so grateful that I got. Ooh, to be able to perceive God in everything.
Yes, yes, yes.
It
Everything.
everything.
Everything. Even
Everything.
those things we don't like or agree
That's
with,
right. That
people we hate.
that's right. It has saved my life to be able, because here's what, and it's, when I first graduated out of practitioner training, I don't even remember the year in this moment now, but when I first graduated, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't see
Well,
God
it
in
takes a
everything.
lot.
I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. Like because my ego, all I could perceive was my ego. I could only perceive the separation because when you see God in everything, immediately you're going to find the oneness. You're going to find oneness. So for years I couldn't do it, but I never forgot it, and I continued to go to school and other places and study. I went to USM, and I
Oh,
just
you
kept.
did. Did you get your master's in spiritual
I
psychology from there?
I did. So I right after Agape, I went to USM. And then I joined this group called Progressive Love of these really young, hip, attractive Black people who were open relators, but
Okay.
they were doing like spiritual work behind, and
Yes.
their thing was I create my life. I create my life, which is the same as Ernest Holmes, right? So
Yes.
but we would do this thing where we would everything that would happen, everything we would go, I created that. So if somebody got cancer, you would say, I created this.
Mm, mm, mm,
It changed my life.
mm,
Then
mm,
I was able to go, okay, now I can see that God is here. Because what do I mean when I say God is here? Creative power is here. I can
yes.
see the
Yes.
creative power in everything. I can see the essence of creation in everything. So if I can see it in cancer and I can see it in having a child with special needs, then when I can see it and love it and know that it's serving me somehow, this is helping me.
Mhm, mhm.
Maybe I feel tortured right now, but that's okay because I know that the divine is here. That's helping me. And all I have to do is sit with it long enough, relax into it, and it'll show me what it's helping me with.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
It took me years to be able to practice that. Years. And when I tell you I love Reverend Michael so much now because I get it. Like it just I couldn't access it for years, but now I can, and I'm like, oh, all of this is my creation. I created this for my growth and evolution. I created this to help me understand God better. I create, and then things just open up to me in my consciousness. My consciousness isn't resisting it anymore. It's almost like when I say, I can see God here, my system relaxes and says, okay, you're safe. So now what's here for you?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, interesting. You say, right, we create everything. Um, I was laid off January of 23. And so really, oh my gosh, my nervous system needed a break because the first I worked at this position like maybe a year and a half, a year and 6 months. And I was working the first 6 months, I was working 12 to 14 hours a day. And then I got uh I had hormones, right? I was going into menopause, had COVID, and I had stress. So I was losing my hair, literally. Like I had a whole new like sensitivity to like male baldness, right? I was losing my hair. And so when I got laid off, it was like, wait a minute. I finally like they'd hired somebody and um I'd finally had like where I could slow down and have like a normal pace. Right. It's like now I'm getting a normal pace and you're letting me go. Now I've done all this hard work and you're letting me go. But
Yeah.
so since I was laid off, I used to get my teeth cleaned every 4 months because I have
Yeah.
an implant. So I'm paranoid about like taking care of my implant. Right. So every 4 months I go get my teeth cleaned. Well, I got laid off. I canceled my cleaning and all my life I've gotten my teeth cleaned like regularly. So I
Yes.
went like a year and 3 months. And then like, I don't know, about 8 weeks ago, I was like, oh my God, I need to get my teeth cleaned. It was just this moment of I need my teeth cleaned right now. So the dentist I've been going to, I didn't want to go to him. I called my old dentist. It was like right in the neighborhood. And it was gonna be $410. And I'm not working. I'm like, no, I'll find a like less expensive alternative. I don't need to go there. I don't need to get an exam and pay for x-rays and I just want my teeth cleaned. So I find some local little place to get my teeth cleaned. They charge me like $20 for an exam and x-rays. And then they give me a $6,000 to $8,000 bill of treatment that I need. So my tooth, my top right tooth, tooth number two, is failing, needs to be extracted. Like there's bone loss, and if I don't get rid of it, it's going to impact my implant and like all of this, right? So then I'm like, okay, when I first leave the dentist office, first I'm a little overwhelmed and a little emotional and like, oh my God, how did I get here? And right. I mean, it could have happened even if I got my teeth cleaned every 4 months. You know what I mean? Right. But I'm thinking like, oh, I should have got my teeth cleaned. What was I thinking? Right. Kind of all this self-blame stuff. Well, so fast forward, I go through all the consults, going to see everybody, decide where I'm going to go. I go yesterday morning. I'm expecting it to be $991. I paid the bill. I get in before they do the surgery. They'll have you sign something that says what they're going to do. Well, all it said was that they were going to work on tooth number two. It didn't say anything about bone grafting tooth number three or cleaning up tooth number three. It didn't say any of that. And I said, well, wait, he's supposed to be doing this. Girl, they come back. It turns out to be 1,500 more dollars. Now, I know it wasn't, I know in my being that they weren't trying to bait and switch me. I know it's not that kind of thing. What I realized, back to something you said, made me think of it, that if I would have had that information, I might not have picked them, but I was supposed to go there. And that mistake was for my own good because
Yeah.
that was the doctor I was supposed to have do it because he was doing cutting edge work and it was going to be what I needed. But I might have gone somewhere else because I might have picked an equally good doctor for less money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it was just that, like, back, you said you create everything. It's like I created this so that I could get the care I needed.
Yes, exactly.
Right. I had to surrender. Like, but imagine, like, I'm already stressed out. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
my, and you who is self-employed forever and doesn't have that regular paycheck, right? Like, it's a big adjustment for somebody that's used to getting a big
Yeah.
paycheck every month.
Yes.
But yeah, there's that trust. I had to go, like, nope, you created this so that you could have the care that was the right care for you.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it just and then you get to feel like, I mean, we're designing our own realities all the time, and that's really why it's important for us to live in our authenticity because um, you know, one of the things that I've become aware of is like this one size fits all that I was mentioning. And it's everyone is different. And the earth provides for itself. Like I said, it is replenishing in its nature. And so when I started to realize, like I had a lover one time who, before we would have sex, he would eat 8 oranges as
Eight
by
oranges.
8 oranges.
And what was the purpose of that? Was that to make him like more like
As Vi
virile or something?
yes, as Viagra. His
Oh, that was like natural Viagra.
it was natural Viagra. And I was like, this man has found natural Viagra for him that is harmless. Eight
Yeah,
oranges.
get down with your little sexy orange self.
Right. And when I tell you, I that made me go, that made me think like, oh, the universe will give each of us our own unique medicine if we ask. Because
Yes.
doctors are going to say everybody who has cholesterol should take this medicine. But everyone's not the same. Everyone who has eye problems should use this thing, and everyone who has, but that's not true because everyone is unique. And there are herbs and also, and your food is your medicine, and your herbs are
Right.
right. And but when you, if you don't understand your own authentic blueprint, you don't know what the solutions are for you. They're unique. They're not going to be what they are for anyone else. That's why we have to tap in and listen and hear. And I had to do a lot of things to get myself to be able to listen. I had to heal my trauma. What was my trauma? Fear of being myself, fear of not belonging, um, fear of being a woman, fear of race, fear of money, fear of, you know, being responsible, like all these things, right? Like there's just so much. So I had to look at each of those things and go, okay, well, what's in this? And a lot of it was ancestral stuff. Like, well, this is like my fear of money is, well, your ancestors worked for 250 years for free.
For free. Oh, girl.
For free.
That's a lot of baggage.
That's right. So you don't have a system that allows you to understand
Oh,
the exchange.
yes, right.
You
That's a
see?
lot of
That's
unraveling.
right.
That's a lot of unraveling.
Right. So I had to look at that and be with that and pray about it and meditate about it. And so, and then like look at, oh, my fear of money and my fear of like all sort, and it would show up like if I was around people who were my age, who occurred as successful, worldly success, and I
Yeah.
didn't have that, then I would feel really bad about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finally I got is like, I, s- I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be I don't, that's not who I am, right? So I don't have to feel bad about myself. I'm a teacher. I'm a seer. So now I can make money doing what I do. And now I feel fulfilled in that. But I was trying to do these other things. I was, like, oh, I should go to law school. I was trying to do what the world says. It's like,
Right.
right? And so I always felt insecure because it wasn't my authenticity. It wasn't who I am. And
And how did you come into your blog and own, like, I'm the moon mama, I'm a teacher? Like, was it just over time or was there an actual moment of like awakening?
it has been a gradual process, and it's been a gradual process. Like when I was doing Instagram every day, first of all, I
Was
loved
that
doing
powerful for you?
so much, and I did it for 500 days straight almost, right?
Girl, it was freaking amazing. I probably was on for at least 75% of it. And
Yes.
if I didn't watch them, I would go back, like, yeah. Well, no, it
So
was live, so I don't think you could go back.
no, there you could save them. So literally one day I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth and I heard Spirit say, go on Instagram every day and talk about where the moon is and align the astrology to what's going on in the world. And I just was like, huh? And then I just started doing it. And then all of a sudden it was like, I remember at one point I was asking, oh, I'm the moon mama. And then I was like, oh, I'm the moon madam. I'm the moon. And then, no, and then moon mama stuck. I was like, nope,
Yeah.
you're right. And so
Yeah, Moon Mama is so great.
it just happened,
But with your lineage, I get the Moon Madam.
Yes, yes, exactly. The moon madam. And so, but I made a distinction. I was like, I'm not gonna carry on that pattern from my mother and father. Like I'm gonna really let that go. I'm gonna let go of this sexual thing in this way. Like I'm going to go into a deeper understanding of our sexuality and not use it in a way that the world kind of makes it okay.
Mm-hmm.
So becoming the moon mama was a process, and I'm still becoming like I've one of the things that has been very present for me is to build a reality. And what does that mean? We watch people do it all the time. We watch like Beyonce, she has built a reality, you know.
Yes. A
Um
big reality.
right, a big reality. And but that's the example. The United States is a reality that has been built, right? So, and
Yes.
we all, and
It
many of
needs to
us,
be unbuilt.
right, and it's coming undone as we speak. But many of us are just in the reality of others, and we're not focused enough in our own authentic expression to create our own reality. And what is that? A reality is something when you are driving your energy the way you would drive a car, and you're using your energy to get you to a specific destinations or experiences, and you're doing it intentionally and consciously. um and so I am building a reality that is geared or founded upon the premise that women are the creators of reality. And we,
Yes.
we are the leaders of reality, we are the creators of reality, and men are the keepers of reality. They keep it up.
Well, as you said that, I can picture when I went to Greece and I was at the Palace of Knossos, and our guide was very feminine, friendly man, like very evolved male. Well, the Palace of Knossos was a matriarchal society. The women ran the community. There were high priestesses and right. And it was my first experience. And then while we were there, like there was a place where the high priestess would do feet washing, and I was very early on my journey of because I started Agape in 99. I think this was 2001, and it was just my friend and I and the guide, and
Mhm.
he's talking to us, and then I'm overcome with tears, and it was a soul remembering that I had been there and washed feet.
Yeah.
But it was like that there was a matriarchal society, and then it's like Christianity came in and the shit hit the fan, and then, it's patriarchal, and here we are.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
but, how does this going from dark ages to the golden age, how does that align up with the masculine patriarchy, feminine matriarchy? Is there any correlation there
Yes,
with our
it
evolution?
it is. It totally is because the feminine, everything comes from the feminine. So anytime we're in a new cycle, it has to begin with the feminine
Oh, okay.
because the feminine is
Okay, because that's the creation.
that's right. That's right. So we're
That's the creation.
right. And so we are creating a new reality. It's going to be, well, here, let me say, the universe is creating a new reality, the golden age.
Right.
Okay.
Yes,
Because
yes.
because the earth and the sun in that proximity and that thing that the earth is doing that's spinning, right? So,
Right, yes.
so that's happening. And we happen to be here. We happen to be here during
By
it.
design.
Right. So while we're here during it, we have to acclimate to it. It's all there is. We can't run from it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's happening. It's like a storm. It's coming. What you gonna do? You're gonna prepare yourself for it. So the light is coming. The light is coming.
Yes, yes. And that's why we're seeing all the craziness happening because it's kind of like the ego holding on before you evolve. It's that same thing, but on a grander scale because it's, our country and our world, right? So it's that shakeup. It's kind of the breakdown before the breakthrough that we're witnessing right now.
Right. It's like sometimes there are days lately, sometimes at nighttime when I'm meditating, I can just send my energy out and I can feel all the chaos. I'm like, my God, it is crazy out there right now.
Yes.
And then I'm like, it's okay because we're okay. Like we're moving. Now I will say some things like some of like the old tribal traditions and things like that. They're saying that if we don't get ourselves together by 2036,
Yeah. That the
we might not,
is it.
the humans might not make it. The earth is going to be fine, but the earth, the humans might not make it. So we have some
12
time.
years. Wow.
Yeah. So we just have to get busy healing ourselves. That's it. Just get busy healing yourself. That's all. And you're doing it. You're doing your part. And all people have to do is do their part. So the fact that you have your podcast, this is fantastic.
Thank you, Monique.
You're welcome.
Well, is there anything that you want to share with our people about like what's happening right now with I know last week was crazy and like we came out of eclipse season and now like is there anything you want to share about where we're at cycle wise or with the
Yes,
moon or anything we need to know?
that's absolutely right. So for the next 9 months, we have the North Node in Aries. Um,
Okay.
and this is where we've been having the eclipses. We're having the eclipses in Aries and Libra because we have the North Node in Libra, we have the North Node in Aries, we have the South Node in Libra. The North Node is our Dharma. That's the front of the dragon, where we're going. So for the last 9 months and the next 9 months, people should be focusing on their individuality, their own identities, who they are meant to be. That is more important than romantic relationships. That is more important than any relationships. And if you're in relationship, because some of us are in relationship, but while you're in relationship, it is important to focus on what you bring to the relationship, who you are, your perspective on the world, how you enhance your life. It's important on making yourself the best that you can be for yourself and for others while the North Node is in Aries. The South Node, the tail of the dragon, is in Libra. That means that we should be changing relationship. The way we relate is changing. Like I
Right.
noticed for me, I'm becoming like I've actually been sad about it. I was like, oh, spirit has turned me into the party pooper. Dang. I was like, and I really feel sad about it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be the one that's raining on everybody's parade. You can't do that anymore. That's not. You got to eat like this. It's like shit. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah, I understand. I totally understand.
it's like
Yeah.
turn me into a party pooper. Like, how do you turn me into a party pooper? But that's but spirit's like that's how you're here to serve right now. Like you're here to help people cut the fat. You're here to help people see clearly and without the fog, without the oh my gosh, no, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is right. And I also am a transmuter. So just by the nature of people working
Mm,
with me and being with me and having they they will naturally begin to transmute their own energy because
mm,
I help people do that. I help people see what they can't see. And just by me help affirming it, because people are at this time, because there's so much darkness, people are uncertain. They're guessing. Oh,
mhm.
I'm sure. And I'm here to say, nope, this is it. This is it.
Right.
Of the uncertainty. And I had a client that I was working with recently, and a lot of us are in relationships, whether it be friendships, work relationships, that are draining our energy, that just don't serve us in the way we're meant to function. It's not because people are bad. It's not
Yeah, I
because,
had a friendship and
yes.
a
And
lifelong friendship.
yes, absolutely. And it's because your energy is malfunctioning in that relationship. And so I had this client and I love her and I'm just telling her this friendship, this isn't it. She's my best friend. She's my best friend. I know, I get it, but it's not it's not serving who you're becoming.
Right.
And so she just couldn't let it go. So then I sent her to see another person who does sound healing in her body.
Yes.
So that helped her get more in alignment. And then yesterday she called me about something and I listened for a little bit. And then when I got off, I prayed and asked Spirit, what did you want me to do? And Spirit said, do some cord cutting on her behalf. And
Okay.
I was a little frustrated. Like I was kind of like, I wish she would get it. You know what I mean? But in
Right.
my own self, right? Not to her, but in my own self, kind of like, why is she
Yes.
holding on so tight like that? Right. And
Yes. Yes.
so Spirit said, this is what Spirit said. See the God in her. Know that there's oneness here. And I was like, oh, it's oneness. Okay. So that means there's something I'm holding on to.
Oh, shit.
Because there's oneness. If she
Right.
if I spot it in
I
her,
got it.
I got it. The,
Right.
the moment I did that, she called me and she said, I got it.
Oh, girl.
I transmuted it. I trans
Right.
by claiming it for myself.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she got it.
Yes. Well, and that's what spiritual mind treatment is, right?
That's right.
It's like you got like we're treating our own freaking mind,
That's
right?
right.
And that's what you were doing. You were treating your own
That's
stuff
right. That's
to have
right.
the transformation for your client.
That's right. That's right. That's
Right. Yeah.
That's what we do, girl. That is what we do. Isn't that something?
It
Isn't
is.
that something? I mean, and when you get to see it happen in the illusion of the other,
Yes. Right. In the illusion of the other. That's exactly right.
right?
Yes. Yes.
It's mind boggling.
Oh, wow. It's so
It's
deep.
it's orgasmic, girl. Though, isn't it? It's like literally
Yes.
like, oh my god! I
Right.
and
Right. Yes. Yes, it is.
it's
It is.
orgasmic. And so I just was like, okay, there it is, right? So all day long, I'm frustrated. She's not getting it. She's not, why didn't she get it? Why did she get it? And then Spirit goes, oneness, oneness. See the creative power in her, see it in you. It's you. If she has something in you, what is it? Where is it in you? Found it in me, read it in her.
Boom.
Boom. That's right. Collapsed
Yeah.
reality. Collapsed it.
Yes. Yes. Oh, wow. Okay. I think that's like the note to end on, like collapsing reality.
Uh,
Was there anything else that we want to like talk about? Anything that hasn't been said or anything I haven't asked you, wish I would? Or
Nope. I just really want people to know that this is a time these next 9 months to focus on yourself, prioritize yourself, and how to do that. When things are going on, just come back to yourself and go, how do I feel about this?
yes.
Don't ask not how do you feel about the person? How do you feel about the experience? If your car breaks down, go, how do I feel about my car breaking down right now? You know what I mean? And like
Yes.
bring it back to how you feel while this North Node is in Aries, because you focusing on yourself is going to be the thing that helps you move yourself forward.
Mm,
That's it.
beautiful, 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 beautiful. I love it. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So are there any I mean, we'll put it in the show notes. Is there anything you have going on? Like, I know you've got the 13 moons that you do and follow suns. Or anything you want to talk about how people can work with you?
So yes, if you can come, my website is Heal with Moon Mama. .com, healwithmoonmama.com. I have a class. I have the 13 moons is we do the moon cycles every month, and then there's a full moon community where we follow the cycle of the sun. So there's one that follows the moon, there's one that follows the sun, and then there's Goddess Gathering for women who really want to tap into harnessing the goddess, the archetype of the goddess within them, so that they can be intentional creators in their lives. And then I do coaching, like I work with clients for ongoing basis. I do natal chart readings just to help people locate themselves. So
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Well, I would like to end with a prayer.
Okay.
So I'm going to just pray us out. So we just arrived here at the end of this awesome conversation, just feeling all the richness and the authenticity and the beauty and the power. And so I just recognize that one mind, that one power, that one infinite intelligence in all, as all, through all. My life, the one life, the life of Monique, the life of every person hearing this wonderful call, this podcast, this call to know thyself, this call to individuality. And so we just speak a word of prayer, knowing that each person feels empowered to do their own work, to love themselves, to feel free to just express their own true, authentic self. And as Monique has invited over this next month, just to really feel. So we just hold this space and place of feeling and knowing thyself. And so I just know that each person is blessed and a blessing that is hearing this. We just give thanks for this new age, the golden age that is emerging as we come out of the dark and into the light. We just give thanks for the light that we are, the love that we are, the wholeness and individuality and creation that is expressing as each one of us. So I just give thanks. I just give thanks. I just give thanks. I release this prayer to the action of the law, knowing it's complete, knowing it's done, saying, and so it is, and so I let it be. Amen, 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 amen.
Amen. Ashe.
Ah, and if you want to have a private counseling session with me, you can meet me at my website at valerieday.com. And Monday through Friday, we have prayer meditation call. Put that in the prayer notes. And thank you, Monique, for your wisdom and your love and your energy. And we'll have you come back again and we'll talk about sex.
Okay. We'll talk about pussies, right? Okay.
We'll talk about pussies. Yeah, we'll talk about our journey of sexuality because we didn't go there today, but you know, we'll do it again.
Okay.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Thank, thank you so
Okay.
much.
I love you.
You too.
Let's see. I gotta figure out how to stop my recording. Okay, here we go.